What's up, y'all? Welcome back pitchside with Parker to another Arsenal women's review. 4-0 win today over Bristol City. We're going to talk about that game, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about the announcement regarding Joe Monetmurro as well, since I didn't make a different video on that. But before we get into that, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I make match reviews after all the Arsenal men's and women's games, so if you're an Arsenal fan, this is definitely the place to be. And I make lots of other soccer content in general. So if you click around the channel, I'm sure you'll find something you like. Also, smash that like button before we even get started with the video, because that's what we do on this channel. Anyway, Arsenal 4, Bristol City 0. I think the same result the last time these teams played as well. It pretty much went as you expected. I mean, scoring in the third minute definitely helped, because you know when you play those lower table teams, the longer you can keep them in the game, the harder it gets. But I mean, Miedema broke the deadlock very early on. Nice goal on her left foot. I will say, though, credit to Bristol. I mean, I think they responded really well after the first goal. They were high-pressing Arsenal, winning the ball back high up the field, and I think the issue they more so faced was figuring out attacking patterns of play, because Arsenal's back line looked very solid. Really didn't give them any space once they did regain it, but they did well defensively, I thought, for the first 25 minutes or so of that first half. It was just that conceding that goal super early really pegged them back a bit. And then Arsenal scored right on the stroke of halftime, the 2-0, give them a little breathing room. And then it was 2 goals in 2 minutes in the second half to really kill off the game. Miedema ends up with 2 goals. Mead scored in the second half. I thought she looked very bright when she came on as a sub. And then Donk had scored in the first half as well, on a very nice team goal. I think that was my favorite goal of the day. And really on the day, I think a lot of the Arsenal players played great, but if you had to give a player of the match award, it would probably have to go to the post for Bristol City or Baggaley in goal, because, I mean, Arsenal should have scored like 12 goals in this game. The XG was probably off the charts. I guarantee it was higher than 4. Some really good saves, I thought, from Baggaley in some one-on-one situations. A few bad shots from Arsenal as well, giving her the chance to save those when they really should just put it away. Miedema had like 3 of those. Knobs, everybody had chances, but they were denied one way or the other. And I think they hit the post 4 different times in this game. So like really, Woodwork would be the player of the match. But anyway, a good win for Arsenal. And the bigger news really came from the other game, Manchester United versus Brighton. Brighton win 1-0 over United thanks to a penalty kick and some help from some stray ducks on the field. I don't know if y'all saw that, but it was kind of hilarious. They stopped the game for like 10 minutes trying to chase some ducks off the field. But it was enough to rattle Manchester United, clearly, because the Seagulls and the Ducks with the nice link up to get the W. So that's huge for Arsenal. There's like a little part of me that is kind of worried about it, because in a way it takes a little bit of the pressure off Arsenal to where they don't have to win every single game from here on out, which should be a good thing. But it just makes me a little nervous that the intensity could drop a touch. I still think we'll be fine. Still think we're going to get third. It's good news, really, but I'm a worrisome person. But yeah, that wraps up the result. I don't think there's too much to break down about this game, but I did want to jump in and talk a little bit about the decision of Arsenal. I guess, I don't know if sacking is really the right word, but letting go of Joe Monetmurro at the end of the season. Obviously, this is massive news for the club, and I just have to give my personal perspective as an Arsenal fan. Like, I'm a very fresh fan to the Arsenal women's team. This season is the only season that I've actually watched like every single game. You know, I have no trouble telling anybody that. But for that reason, I didn't think it was totally fair also to give my thoughts on Montemurro in like a separate video and try to be, you know, informative or some expert or anything, because I'm not. But what I can say from my experience in watching this team, and prior to this season, my experience was watching Arsenal in the big games. And so I certainly have noticed a drop-off over the past, I would say, 1.5 to 2 years, especially in terms of the big games, which I know is a big criticism thrown at him. Part of it as well is just that I think the rest of the league has been surpassing Arsenal more than Arsenal has necessarily done anything wrong. So I think some people might say, you know, how can you blame that on Joe then? And some people would say maybe he's part of the reason that Arsenal have stagnated a little bit. And for me, it's tough to evaluate because I also feel like, especially this season specifically, it's been dealt some really tough circumstances between COVID and injuries and whatnot. But if you're going to make those excuses, you can make them for City and Chelsea as well, and they're still storming the league. I think throughout this season, I've just felt like it hasn't quite been good enough for Arsenal, and so I am in agreement with this decision. And I also think that it came at the right time. I mean, I think Arsenal handled this really well. It was a bit of a surprise, but, you know, they were able to break the story. It wasn't like some massive pressure was building from the fans off of a bad result or anything like that, where it would be a lot more negative. And by announcing it before the season was over, it gives him an opportunity to be celebrated a little bit, you know, kind of have that farewell tour in a way for the last few games and, you know, let the people kind of enjoy the last moments with him, but also be able to prepare for the future, because it's a good time to start looking for a new coach as well, because you've still got some time before the season ends and you can get someone new in place, take your time finding the right replacement, and get them going on the project for next season ahead of time. And so I think all in all, it was handled well by Arsenal. Again, I agree with the decision. That doesn't mean I have any discontent towards Joe. I mean, clearly he did some great things as coach of Arsenal, won the league, won the Conti Cup, some great games, some great football. And there was a time where, I mean, Arsenal were the class of the league a couple years ago. But unfortunately, it's passed them by a little bit. And it is time, I think, if we all want to move forward in the direction that we want to see Arsenal back at the top and fully competing with City and Chelsea, they're going to need a new manager, but also they're going to need more investment. Simply put, like, Arsenal's squad just did not match up with those other two this season. And so, although a little bit of it was on Joe, that's only one part of the recipe, really, for Arsenal to get where we want them to be. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I did want to give my thoughts in a video at some point, even though I know that I'm probably not the most enlightening person on the subject, which is why I didn't make a separate video on it. But I would definitely love to know what you think if you are an Arsenal women's fan, or hey, if you, I mean, even if you're a fan of another team and you're looking at this more objectively. Do you think this was the right decision? Who would you like to see come in as a replacement? Definitely let me know all of that down in the comments. You know, I'm just hoping for good things for Arsenal moving forward. And right now, the good news is that Champions League is on. It's going to be even easier now that Manchester United have lost today, and that is all good for Arsenal. So that's going to be all for this one. I will catch y'all in the next video.